Right, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine morning. This will go live Monday morning at 8 a.m. to give the algorithm time to do its thing. I hope everyone is doing well. It is Sunday morning. It is 10 a.m. The wife is sleeping. The kid is playing. I had a wonderful session of Gotham City Chronicles last night with my good friend Brian and Mark. And I think we're adding another player. I'm not sure. But either way, it was phenomenal. I had a blast. But today's video du jour is something that my buddy Brian sent to me, and I have toted many times on this channel that good games need good game masters. I don't care how good your game is, it can't jump off the screen and run itself. And that is very true. It's not easy being a GM. I've done it for many, many years. I've been told I'm good at it. People have fun when I run games. I have fun, and that's part of it, right? There are certain people that are more bent to be players, and there's more people that are more bent to be a GM. I am more bent to be a GM because I am a strong personality type person. I'm very extroverted. I'm commanding. I'm loud. I'm in your face. That's just my natural personality. I was in law enforcement and the military for 20 years total. So I'm very much a, commanding type person. That's my personality. It's just how I am. My father was a cop. My mother was a nurse. So I'm used to command, authority, and respect, and, paying attention and listening and, doing the right thing and all that stuff. So I'd like to think they have good morals and belief, which kind of help make you a good role player. But you got to have a little skeeviness to you as well. You got to be willing to bend the rules and do things that are in the gray sometimes. And I think that's part of what makes a good game master. Those are all traits that can be learned, which is the good thing. Anybody can be a GM. Now there's varying degrees of GM. And one of the things that I think makes a good GM is being well read, understanding the world that you live in, and reading and experiencing different things. I'm fortunate enough that I've had a couple of different careers in my almost 60 years of life. I've been in the military, I've been in law enforcement, and I've been in IT. All three careers bring different attributes and talents to the table. And if you learn from those, it makes you a very versed person in a lot of different things. And that's hard for young people because they don't haven't experienced anything, so they don't have experiences. So all they have is what they've read, what they've learned in their time. And so there's things like what we're going to talk about today. Prince, I can't say it properly. Principia Conanica by LightPress Studios, or LightPress Principia. My buddy Brian sent this to me, and now originally he sent me these two. He got turned on to them. I don't know how he found them. Brian is an avid reader. He's a speed reader. He's very intelligent. He's one of the best people I know. And I consider him a little brother, but I also look up to him a lot because I think he's a very good person. He strives to be a decent person, and I respect him and I love him a lot. So Brian, if you're watching this, I love you, man. You are a very good friend and the closest thing to family without sharing genetics. And so Brian tends to see weird things and goofy things that for whatever reason he thinks I will enjoy. And I am sure Brian does this with a lot of his friends. He has a pretty close-knit circle of friends. He doesn't have a ton of people. He has many, like me, he has many acquaintances, very few friends. And I'm honored to be considered one of them. But he sent me these two books, the Historia Vampiri and the Principia, The Simple Approach. And this is literally a role-playing game. And this book is $5, and I think this book is $10. And you say, my God, Mr. Mean, that's sinfully cheap when you were just ranting about how Paizo and WotC are charging $60, $70 for a role-playing game. How can you sit here and talk about these games that cost peanuts compared? Well, it's really easy. These are A, extremely well written, and B, they have no art. So this is a role-playing game that doesn't use art to sell its premise. It uses words. Now, that's a tough sell in the gaming community because since the original D&D books, we've been conditioned to look for the cool art. That's what sets tabletop RPGs aside from novels, right? You get rules and you get art, and the art sets the theme, it sets the tone, it sets the value of the book. If you have good art, you assume it's a good book. It's not always the case. I can think of a number of RPGs that had really cool art, but the mechanics sucked. I won't name any because I don't like to throw anybody under the bus. But what LightPress has done here with the simple approach. Now, these two books, I got to get this out of the way. This is $15. This is hardback. And I'll go over the stats of the book in a minute. But these are pretty much the same thing. This one is just greatly expands upon the principles in here. So I would say if you're not quite sure that this is up your alley and, you know, it's a lot of text to read, but it's well worth the read. But if you're not sure, spend the 5 or 10, I think it's 5 or 10. There's a big sale going on right now. I'm going to put links in the doobly-doo to take you to LightPress webpage so you can buy. But a lot of their splat books, what we would call a splat book, like Historia Vampiri, this is $5. And this is 131 pages. There is no art in here. It is all text. But what this does is, well, I don't want to jump ahead. This is $5. I believe this is either 5 or 10 right now on their website. I couldn't find the exact copy. Their website, it's not horrible, but it's not great. It's functional, let's say, but I couldn't find this. I think this is a compilation of all their articles put together, which after, and maybe if Brian knows or somebody who's familiar with their stuff more so than I am, because I just got turned on to this, can leave a comment. I think this is the full-blown version of this. I'm glad I got both because this is a kind of a light read. I mean, yeah, it's pretty dense at 205 pages. But it's a quick read. It's a decent sized font. You can see it's not super tiny. So it's going to be easy to read and it's enjoyable, to be honest. It is a D6 system. It is a points by system. And what's neat about it is based on your level, you get X amount of points. So at first level, you get 15 points and you buy a level and 5 attributes. You can call these attributes whatever you want. They give you some examples. So I think first and foremost, let me start with this. Principia Conanica is hardback. It is 218 pages. It is $15. It is Smithsonian. It is not going to fall apart on you. It's very well done. It will lay flat, but you're going to have to crack the spine a little bit. I recommend getting a bookmark. I would be willing to pay $20 for this. They put like 3 ribbons in here so that you could use it to bookmark things, because without art, a lot of times you can go, oh, the picture of the dragon fighting the paladin starts the combat section. So you can flip, through the book and go, oh, there's the picture of the dragon fight, and you can look at it. But that being said, this is basically your core rule book. So you're getting an entire role-playing game for $15. It's on sale right now. It's normally 20 or 30, but they're having a 50% off sale right now per their website. So $15. Even at $30, I think this is worth it. Now, if you're an art monkey and you want all the pretty pictures to look at, you're not going to like this. If you can get over that and you can get past it and value the written word, this is a wealth of information. It is clearly written, it is precise, it is narrative, and it is functional. This is a game. There's no default setting. Now, that being said, there are tons of books. You want to run Vampire the Masquerade, all you need is this, and you've got it. You want to add a little steampunk to it, there's a steampunk book that you can buy for $5. You want to add a Roman era, Cthulhu, there's a Roman era book. You want to run, Gaslight Cthulhu type, horror. There's a source book for that. $5 right now. There's a big sale going on. You want to run sci-fi, you want to run vagabond, there's a $5 source book. So it's all these little splat books that run about 130 pages for $5, normally $10, but 50% sale. So even at full price, I think these are a lot of bang for their buck. And if you're willing to read and ingest the words, this is some amazing stuff. If you're a budding game master, if you're a seasoned game master, do yourself a favor and pick these up and read them. They are going to uh, enlighten you and show you things that you didn't think. This is story and character first. Mechanics are just there to facilitate the story. They are not the end all. This is not Pathfinder. This is not D&D. This is more like uh, uh, Age of Apocalypse, or what is it? The Apocalypse system or Dungeon World. Very similar to that, but even more precise, if I can use that word. It dials it in, the character, what moves the story forward. And there's tons of advice and tons of information. And this is great for players. You know, I can see getting my players a copy of this and having them read the character section, because even for a game like Pathfinder, you can tell a very in-depth storytelling game with Pathfinder and use the mechanics to facilitate. So this is an excellent resource. In fact, my current GM in our Pathfinder second edition game, Kevin, I'm going to buy him a copy of this, because I think he's going to be an amazing GM with some time and some experience under his belt. And I think something like this is really going to help influence him and give him that knowledge. In fact, what I might do is, since I have these two, I might gift him with this, because this has less like character creation mechanics in it and more play the character, and it might be good information for him. So I might re-gift this. I know Brian gift, but these kind of do the same thing. This is just a little more in depth. This might give him, and if he likes it, then he can go buy this if he wants. And that's kind of how I feel where you should start with this. I think I'm very grateful that Bry sent me this one first, because I read this and I was really digging it. And he's like, oh, okay, well, if you really liked it, he goes, I just picked this up, the Principia Conanica, and it's really good. And he goes, and so he sent it to me. Unfortunately, I dropped it and I scuffed up the front a little bit. So what I might do is, I'm a perfectionist for my books, and every time I look at this, I see these dings. It fell on the gravel in my driveway. I might gift this to Kevin, and I might rebuy it, because again, it's $15 right now. So I might do that. I might give this to Kevin and rebuy it. But again, Brian, thank you so much. This has been a wonderful read. I'm still reading it. I'm enjoying it very much. And I'm kind of flipping back between these two, because they kind of cover different things, but are still in the same vein, and both really good. Brian knows that I am a huge vampire fan. And when we first became friends 20 years ago, one of the big games that we were really into was Vampire the Masquerade by White Wolf. So, and I had some really cool characters. I had Gideon, which was a gargoyle. I think he was a 9th generation gargoyle that I really loved. But due to miscommunication between two players, me and another player, I got killed. And the final death, the true death. But it was a cool character. And then I played an Assamite assassin. Hakim Assam. I don't remember his whole name, but he was a badass. He was really cool. He was an Assamite, and that was really cool. And our fellow friend, I can't think of his name now. Steve, Brian. Anyway, he was playing a thaumaturge, and I touched him, and he freaked out. It was awesome. We had some really good role playing. Those were some deep role playing session. We'd turn the lights off, have candles going. I mean, we Brian was a master of music foo, and he would always have his iPod, the old mechanical iPod. He would have that hooked up to the stereo, and he would run. And yeah. So anyway, I'm a huge Vampire the Masquerade fan, and this. Oh man, this is a feast for your brain right here. This goes through all the different types of vampires, how to make them, how to use them as protagonist, antagonist, story plots. It's really good. This is Jones, and this is softback, black and white. Again, no art in these books. If you're looking for art, there's no art. This is all the written word. 131 pages and currently $5. And the nice part is on their website, they have galactic fantasy, Cold War espionage, dark academia, modern espionage, cozy fantasy, heroic fantasy, folk horror, magical realism, medieval horror, galactic fantasy. And again, every one of these books I've mentioned is $5. Occulta Magia, Spellcraft Guide is $3. I'm sure it's a smaller page count. Barbary Pirates, you want to play Pirates of the Caribbean. They've got 2 books in here, the Barbary Pirates and the Caribbean Pirates. And then modern pirates, you want to do modern conflicts off of like Cambodia and Laos and all that, where the cruise ships and stuff are being, you could do that if that's your, the point is, this is modern day GURPS is my opinion of this. This is any pretty much genre you can think of, and you can combine these. You could do galactic fantasy with Treasure Island. You can add these 2 books and take points from it, and speaking points, so to speak, or reading points, and you can merge them into your own setting. So it's a lot of information. The Seahawk, a role-playing source book, Ghost Story, Night of the Living Dead source book, Gothic horror, plot hook and fake book, folk horror, Night of the Living Dead Companion. They've got 2 books out. Building Adventures. So again, a good GM book. Building Adventures, The Simple Approach. Building Worlds, A Simple Approach. These are books that forego the expense of art to give you words that will help you become better at your craft, whether you're a player or a GM. Just heroic fantasy, critical twist, dramatis personae, heroic fantasy companion, game master advice, The Simple Approach. $3 for this book. Just so much. And I know Brian's real big into these. He's bought a bunch of these, and I can tell you right now, I'm going to be picking up a bunch because I think they are really good. They are well written, and there is just some awesome stuff. If you're into occult, Dracula reference guide, Frankenstein reference guide. There's, critical twist for Night of the Living Dead, plot hook, fake book. I don't know what that is. I'd have to look up on that. Yuletide modern reference guide, Yuletide fantasy reference guide. Just a plethora of information. Dark fantasy, The Simple Approach, telling you how to run a good fantasy, what makes dark fantasy, and how to implement it. Renaissance fantasy. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, world reference. Puppet states. You want to have a political intrigue game, and you want to have a political entity with someone behind there, maybe a vampire pulling the strings. Yellow Bricks, the puppet state. All this information is that's Ozpunk fantasy, which is a whole nother genre, which is a rabbit hole you can go down if you're into Wizard of Oz. So there's probably 60, 70 books here, and they're all relatively priced. The General Obligations of Fellowship, the Magpie Fellowship Almanac, $1. They have a not a Patreon, but they have a newsletter that you can sign up for. Witch Punk. I love Witch Punk, believe it or not. I was really into Witchcraft, the role-playing game, which I learned about witchcraft and All Flesh Must Be Eaten from Vampire the Masquerade and those games. It kind of led me into that. And I'm a huge fan of Witchcraft and All Flesh Must Be Eaten. And I say I don't like horror games, but yet I've run Witchcraft and people love it when I run it. And it's a really good system. The Witchcraft book by George Valakos is an amazing system. If you haven't checked it out, it's kind of like the original Friday Night Firefight Cyberpunk. It's a stat and a skill and a 1d10, and you're looking for a target number above whatever the GM sets or the opposed person if you're doing it. But it's a very good system, and I believe it's still free on DriveThruRPG. So A, use my affiliate link, or B, just go to drive-through and download it. I believe it's still free, and it's a really good system. And if you like modern day horror with witchcrafts, I at the time I had a girlfriend who was a Wiccan, so I was running it for her, and it was a blast. So she really dug it because it takes the point of view of witches aren't necessarily bad guys, vampires aren't necessarily evil, so on and so forth, and ghost and all that stuff. So really good series. Go check it out. But yeah, there's just tons of stuff. I'm going to make sure I put a link to this in the show notes. I'm not affiliated with them. I don't get anything. But yeah, you can check this out. And I think if you're into GMing or you're into being a better role player, I'll leave it at that. I won't connotate it by saying GM or player. If you're into being a better gamer, a better role player, do yourself a favor and start looking at these books. Don't worry about the art, worry about the written word, because the word is more powerful than the art. And I'll give you a simple analogy there. Game of Thrones, read the books. They're way better than the TV show ever was. Yeah, it's visual, and sure, it gives you that dopamine, and everything, and you're super excited to see it. But if you're into reading, and most role players are, read the books. They're 1,000 times better than the TV series was, and way more informative. And of course, your brain will fill in all the gaps and you don't even have to do that, because the books fill in the gaps, and they're way more in depth than the TV show could have went. But anyway, these I think are amazing. I don't want to babble on this. I'm super excited about this. I'm going to start picking up these books as I can, because they're dirt cheap. And right now, like I said, there's a 50% off sale. Do yourself a favor, go pick these up. It's a D6 system. You have everything you need to put a game together. It would be easy enough to tweak these numbers if you want to use D10s or D8s, because it's real simple. I mean, basically, when you to character versus character is you take your dice pool, you grab the dice that are based on the attribute you want, and you roll that amount of D6s. On average, you're looking at probably 2 to 3 dice. And you add them together. Your opponent does the same thing. The GM NPC adds them together. Whoever gets the highest total wins. It's that simple. If you tie, the player wins with a complication. I mean, you can't get any simpler. So the mechanics are very simple, but yet in depth, because of the information they give you. Story over function, cause over combat. I mean, it doesn't have to be combat. We all love combat in our role-playing games, and there is combat in these games. I don't want you to think that this is a romance novel, right? There's no fighting in here. There is conflict, but they go in depth. That social conflict is just as important as physical combat. So, politicking is just as important as warfare, so it depends on the kind of game you want to run. I'm more of a visceral GM. I like heavy combat. I like action. You can do that with these. It's very well done, and I think you're gonna, man, if you're a star. I wish these would have been out 30 years 40 years ago when I was GMing, when I first started GMing, because these would have been so invaluable. So if you're new to GMing or you're thinking about getting into GM, I highly recommend look at LightPress and look at these books. There's so many books in the setting, every genre, every niche that you want to get into. Diesel punks, steampunk, witch punk. In fact, I'm going to go buy the witch punk book right now. So in closing, I want to say this is an invaluable resource to players and GMs. Check it out. I think it's well worth the read, and the price, you can't beat it. They're practically giving them away. You can buy them on Amazon too, and certain credit cards will give you points when you use their credit card on Amazon. I just found this out, so I went and ordered some stuff. Ordered some dice. I need more dice. Right there. is a treasure box full of fucking dice. Pardon my French. So I don't need more dice, but I found a set of sci-fi neon green dice that glow in the dark, and I had to have them. So they were free because I had points from my credit card. So it was a win-win. So with that being said, use my affiliate links if you can. I'm not sure this is on drive-through, but I know it's on LightPress. I'll put links in the doobly-doo. They are available on Amazon. If I'm trying to use Amazon less and less if I can. But I'm going to buy directly from LightPress because I want to support the authors and that company because these are amazing. So check it out. Let me know what you think. Put some notes down in the doobly-doo. I'll try to reply to all the comments. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to answer them. Like I said, I think for the bang for the buck here, this is a resource that you're going to use for years, and it's going to be good stuff. So as always, like and subscribe, help support the channel, Ko-Fi, Patreon. Use my affiliate links for DriveThruRPG. I'm the only DriveThruRPG reviewer that can post video links in my reviews. As far as I know, they may have changed that, but back when Sean Patrick Fannin was running it, he gave me special rules, dispensation that I could post video links. And I need to go into drive-through and start putting my links in there because I have like 700 reviews that I need to do on drive-through. So I got some work. These should all be available as podcast as well. So if you want to listen to them, I've converted all my videos to podcast on YouTube, so you can listen to them as well. So, and you should be able to download them from YouTube as a podcast. So if you have any questions or concerns about that, let me know. Enjoy your Sunday. I hope you order these. Again, let me know what you think and go check them out. I'm going to put all the links down in the doobly-doo. Peace and hair grease. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Let's grow the channel. We're I think just over 1,600 followers. So let's grow the mini army and join my Discord. I have a very popular Discord. I shouldn't say very popular. It's a fun Discord where we talk about role-playing games. No politics, no religion, no current events. We talk about role-playing games, tabletop games, board games, and video games. And we have a GM section. We have a lot of publishers and artists on our site. So if you're looking to start your own RPG and you want to get some assistance, it's a great place to go. So anyway, as always, I will say it one last time. Peace and hair grease. Remember, be nice.